it's amazing the kind of gymnastics one has to do just to be able to stay in one's true authentic self. Am I making sense?
You're making a lot of sense, and it's not even with all of that. What I have found is, because I'm from southern part, Houston, Texas, although I don't live directly in Houston, but when I engage with people who are from North Carolina or Washington, there's a very different in terms of how we communicate, our styles, what's important to us, and sometimes feel looked down upon. And that's
what do you mean sometimes?
Well, and not so much as today, because my friendships are all over the world now, but particularly in the United States. But there is a difference in the education in the South than there is in the North.
Yeah, like I'm from Chicago.
Okay, so there are things in terms of culturally where cultural pride and understanding and knowledge of history is key. Here, I'm not saying it's not important, but as you know, with even the Texas conversation about books and stuff like that, we've been stripped a lot of our culture and a lot of our knowledge about ourselves. And so that's why I made that statement that, sometimes it's a feeling of looked down upon. Now I can carry my own, so I don't particularly worry about that. But I do notice that there's a difference. Even as we're getting into this conversation about Kwanzaa, I know people who were very surprised that for years we didn't necessarily do Kwanzaa here at Resurrection MCC. We started doing celebrating Kwanzaa as a church community on the campus, I would say, within the last 10 to 15 years. Prior to that, we celebrated, but it wasn't here at the church. It was actually in the homes. In the homes, but now it's something that it's more embraced, so to speak, and I don't want to use the word safe, but we're all reclaiming our time, so to speak.
Right.
Well, when I came to the States in 77,
Where did you come?
from Trinidad, the family retained a whole lot of culture. As I got older, even though I'm here, there's a lot of things I didn't participate in. And my children, they seem more West Indian and more Trinidadian than me. Because they have just gone back. And now I spoke with Denise about, we're having to go back to recapture some things. But when I came here talking about trying to get assimilated in, you having to read and you want to die because you have to read aloud and the kids are going to laugh. And so, yes, these kids that comes to America, they're not trying to hold on to home or speak like they're speaking at home. They're trying hard to fit in. And then one of my teachers, for some reason, saw fit to give me a short story to read, A Man Without a Country. I already had my struggles.
Oh, boy.
I already had my struggles.
Right.
I mean, this is in sixth grade and I'm still remembering it like it was yesterday. So I'm like, where do I belong? Even in the workplace now, where do I belong? It's just quite interesting.
It's interesting that you say that, because sort of sitting and listening to you made me think about my journey, right? And I think, it's like, because one of the things that I have defiantly refused to give up is pride in where I come from. And it's not because I'm like, just strong like that. I realized that by the time I got to America, I was facing challenges from the white community that looked down on me. From the Caribbean community in the UK that looked down on me because I came in from the UK. From the African American community in America that looked down on me. And from Nigerians from dominant tribes who looked down on me. And I became like that scrappy kid in the playground. Like, you're all gonna gang up on me, where I'm just gonna have to stand firm. You can beat me into the ground, but I'm not gonna give this up.
Exactly.
And as I think about this, I wonder if sometimes there's something to be said for understanding bias instead of pretending it doesn't exist.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
You have all kind of, yes.
yes.
Because I'll tell you, when I walked into a Nigerian grocery store, Nigerians in the grocery store, are you Nigerian? Oh my, great, I'm Nigerian too. If that happened in Nigeria, and I was not from their tribe, they would not have the same reaction.
Yep.
But they come over here and pretend the bias does
Does
not
not
exist.
exist.
Yeah,
I think we need to, and the same thing for African Americans,
I was
right?
about to say it's the
And
same.
Africans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We meet, oh, you're black, I'm black, oh, great. But then we go to our own black areas, it begins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think rather than try to pretend that bias doesn't exist, we should just begin to talk about it.
Exactly.
I agree.
And not only just talk about it, see how you can coexist.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have these implicit biases.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, how do we coexist and honor everyone where they are, and there's equal value. One is not greater than the other, and that's the problem. But people think that they have to be above people. It's like, no, we're all on the same level playing ground. In some senses, as human beings, as human beings,
Yeah.
as human beings. Yes, we know that there are certain socioeconomic, certain just racist type things that occur in life. But when the rubber meets the road,
We're all the same.
And the sad part of that is that's the culture that we all inherited.
yeah,
Correct.
It's the culture we all inherited, and we and somehow or another, whether we intend to or not, we still contribute to that,
Yeah.
and we keep it alive.
yeah,
And so,
Yep.
when you talk about how do we come together,
yeah,
we have to refuse.
Mhm.
We have to refuse to participate
in that
Yeah.
in
manner.
that manner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so true.
That's why conversations are important.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more I know about people, the more comfortable I get with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more similarities I find,
Mm-hmm.
the more I speak to people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important that we do these get-togethers where we just talk, right? We used to do this thing called Chop and Chat before COVID. We would invite about maybe 10, 15 different people, different socioeconomic, different tribes, different colors. Everybody just come together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll throw down food, drinks. After a couple of, like the first hour, everybody relaxes.
Mm-hmm.
And we just start talking about things that are like, you would normally not even hear of. I don't know about Margaret, but my intention back then was more to do the inclusive thing between the straight world,
Right.
and gay people.
Right.
Because to me, the more we experience each other,
Mm-hmm.
the more similarities we find, the easier it is to kind of sort of dissolve those lines that separates us.
Mm-hmm.